3, 2, 1. Hey, yeah. Welcome back to Living Color with Matt Woodward. Episode number 5. This is the 5th show. 5 shows deep. Time is moving quick. And this is recording this on May 1st, Friday, May 1st. So it's already 4 months into 2020. I mean, it's been a wild year. One that's hard to describe and explain, as we all know, for many reasons at this point. And things are just, going along at this point. I'm trying to, as you can see, I'm trying to build out my little space here a little bit, my temporary little studio, as you will. But May 1st, man, it is hard to believe that we're already into May now. And I was thinking, I've thought about a lot, the past couple of years. It's crazy how fast time really moves. I feel like when you're growing up, you always hear, older folks say, like, where did the time go? Or, I can't believe how fast the years flew by. It feels like just yesterday. And they can remember, vividly what they were doing in college or high school, or like certain days and memories. And, it just flies by for them. And that's kind of what it's kind of feeling like for me right now. It just seems like, I have to remind myself to sort of try to enjoy every day instead of looking forward to weekends and, when I'm going to get paid next, or, just all sorts of things. You have to kind of take in every day as, a new day, and, kind of try to enjoy the time before it just flies by, because before you know it, if you look forward to every paycheck every 2 weeks, that those 2 paychecks, that turns into a month. If you think about it, if you're getting paid bi-weekly, obviously, it'd usually be like, 2 paychecks or so a month. And you just, if you get in the mindset of looking forward to paychecks like that, next thing you know, years are going to fly by, and you might still be stuck in the same position or in the same spot that you were in previously, and that you might not want to be in, or that you might just be getting caught up in the moment, or like in the cycle of things where you can't get out of your habits or your routine and what you're doing, and next thing you know, it's just months fly by. And that's kind of what it's seeming like right now. But I mean, 2020, there's just so many things that have already happened in the first 4 full months of the year so far, and I can only hope it gets better. I think it has to. I don't think there's. I don't know if it can get much worse from here. It just kind of seems like summer's around the corner. I know that as I'm recording this, May 1st, Friday, May 1st, that we're still in quarantine, obviously, but I like to think that summer's around the corner, and maybe things are gonna get better, and hopefully we'll be able to enjoy a little part of it. Because even myself, I had big plans for the summer. I hope to travel around a little bit more in Colorado and explore and hike and do all sorts of things and just be outside, because it's gorgeous all summer, and almost every day really. But yeah, man, I'm trying to just be positive with it. It's easy to fall in like that little lull. Like I said, you don't, if you're looking forward to your paycheck, or you're looking for your stimulus check to come, if it hasn't already, then you're just gonna end up getting caught up in that cycle where you're just gonna lose track of time, and next thing you know, time just slips by, and maybe your best years might slip by, and so it's kind of important. Even myself, I always, this is only the I believe was it 4th, 5th episode? What did I say? Yeah, this is the I'm getting already lost. I'm just looking at my notes here because I try to get like a little prep going before the show to try to figure out a couple topics that I would want to cover. And just looking at it, states are already reopening. Today's May 1st. Texas reopened today. I know Florida, the beaches are popping. Like it's a spring break. Everybody's getting out, and I believe Georgia's open now too. And it's kind of interesting to just see where, if that's like a test for the rest of the states. If just to see like, all right, if Texas, obviously Texas is a massive state, but and it's there's a lot of rural areas as much as there are urban, and or like cities, and it's gonna be interesting to see how how it all plays out if there is that rise again, because that's kind of what you're hearing right now constantly, is that there's gonna be while it might be dipping a little bit, there's gonna be like that spike again. There's always gonna be like that next spike, and I hope that doesn't happen. But even this just being like the 5th episode, I'm trying to, do more, but at the same time, just try to, figure out ways, certain little ways that I can, improve. Obviously, I'm trying to, fill up my space a little bit, I guess you'd say, with certain things. And, I'm trying to, expand though. Like this is like, as I mentioned, this is sort of like a temporary set. And I just really wanted to get everything just, started in general. And, my MacBook, every time I'm telling you something about this, it has like that little, the rainbow wheel going here spinning on me, and it's like a refurbished MacBook, and it's been dying on me a lot recently. I haven't actually updated it in a minute, and that might have something to do with it. But here we go. There we go. I just want to make sure I'm still recording that, because like I said, this is just sort of this is just a setup to get started right now. I'm just making sure that everything's still going, and I even thought about going live for 420, because 420, not only obviously it's like a it's a national weed holiday, and people just get stoned out of their minds, obviously, and it's it can be a great time for if you enjoy that. But even myself, I was gonna try to go live with it, and maybe play some guitar on the deck outside, and here I am hitting the mic stand here. I was thinking of going live and even just doing like a little DJ set, but yeah, I was running into just so many like just setup problems, and trying to make how would I stream it live, and just the MacBook was freezing on me, and this is what it takes to start. This is what's gonna be, and I hope that you're enjoying it, and it's sort of providing you with some sort of insight to how I'm thinking, or entertainment. And speaking of entertainment, like I said, I've been writing down topics, and Drake just released a new mixtape. And at this point, it's kind of hard with Drake to tell, what's a mixtape, what's an album, what's a playlist, like More Life, And I think that's like a bigger conversation with this whole Apple Music deal, personally. But I'm going to try to react and review to the new Drake mixtape, which was just released today, Friday, May 1st, 2020, obviously. And the new mixtape is titled Dark Lane Demo Tapes. So he's really kind of going out of his way to make sure that this isn't a new album. This is just demos, which in a weird sense, I don't know if it's I don't really know what to expect. Like demos, you really think it's uh, sort of like in the works tracks, like tracks that aren't finished or halfway finished. So I don't know what to expect with this. It's 14 tracks long, and it features Giveon, Chris Brown, Future and Young Thug on a track, D4L freestyle, and Playboy Cardi. As long as Fivia Foreign and Sosa Geek. I have no idea who that is, but for a demo tape, to have Future, Young Thug, and Playboy Cardi and Chris Brown on a demo tape is intriguing. And there's a lot of hype I see on Twitter and on the internet right now about it. So I'm excited to check it out. And that's something I'm gonna do later on in this podcast. I'm trying to think if I should mix it into this podcast or just have like a whole other separate video. But that's also a whole other conversation for another time, because it's just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with this show. Do I want to have just like a straight podcast, like just talking like this, or do I want to also integrate doing a reaction and a review into the show, and then going after kind of recapping, and then just kind of wrapping things up from there. That's one of the options, one of my ideas I'm trying to figure out. But just looking back at my little notes here, there is something that I also wanted to discuss, and I was going to mention it a little bit ago there, but I just kind of got wrapped up. But I wanted to mention this tweet. It's interesting. LeBron James, he tweeted yesterday, which would be Thursday, last day of April. He tweeted last night, saw some reports about execs and agents wanting to cancel the season. Question mark. That's absolutely not true. Nobody I know is saying anything like that. As soon as it's safe, we would like to finish our season. I'm ready and our team is ready. This is where it gets interesting. The last line. Nobody should be canceling anything. So LeBron's making his statement. He's letting it known, and it's quite the statement to make, especially coming from him, because he's usually pretty careful with his words. He's not afraid to speak his mind on issues, on important issues, and I commend him for that, because he's been an incredible ambassador for the NBA. Incredible face of the NBA. He's been a global face of the NBA for decades now, and it's when LeBron speaks, it's important. No, even if it's in like a little after practice press conference, like if he says one little jab or one little sidebar, it's gonna make headlines. If he just makes like a little backhanded comment or something about really anything, any sort of issue. It doesn't even have to be an issue. It can be an opponent that he's coming up against, anything. It's gonna be talked about, and particularly on certain networks, no matter what. So when he says nobody should be canceling anything, it's like it's not. I don't know if it puts pressure, per se, on the NBA to sort of go ahead with the season, because they're already talking about potentially having like a tournament or finishing the season at Disney World, and isolating the players completely in hotels. But when he says something like that, you kind of have to take it for what it is. You have to kind of you respect his opinion. You're like, obviously I don't know if it's it's not like necessarily like I said, a deal breaker or anything like that. Like all right, LeBron said we have to finish the season. That means we have to. But when he speaks, people listen, and especially Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, and players and former players and NBA executives, everybody, everybody in the sports world listens, and so it's gonna be interesting to see what they do, or how they're gonna finish the season out. I think the way to go, if they're going to, I'm not sure, having a couple regular season games and then going into the playoffs will work. I think that would last too long, and it would, potentially start cutting into that, the first few weeks of the NFL season. But at the same time, I think they do have to finish the season because this was such a monumental season coming into it. It was for the first time in a while. It was sort of parity in the league where there was a few teams who could actually win and compete and get to the NBA Finals, and teams that hadn't really been there before, or not necessarily before, but in a while. So I think it's important for the NBA to finish the season, but at the same time, I think, and as LeBron, I'm sure he understands and knows at this point, it's the safety of everybody is paramount. But he mentioned it in the tweet. He said it himself. What did he say here? He said, as soon as it's safe, we would like to finish our season. I'm ready and our team is ready. Nobody should be canceling anything. So it's going to be interesting. I think, I think NASCAR is starting back up in a couple weeks here. I know the MLB is trying to, start their season. I know they're going through so many options at this point. I know NHL is trying to finish their season. They're really pushing for it. And I'm not sure really how that's going to work. The thing with NHL, it already is, the postseason's already played in the summer. But if it's competing against, potentially the NBA playoffs or finals, or, a shortened MLB season, or even potentially preseason football, or even the first weeks of a regular season of an NFL schedule, it's hard to imagine how the NHL is going to compete, or what kind of, ratings or fan interest they'd still have, with so many options happening, especially even in the summer. It's not even necessarily that, it just has to be sports. It can be, there's so many options to do. You just, obviously right now we're in quarantine, but you have to think, a couple of months from now, if things start loosening up, or, there's certain guidelines that you have to follow, or restrictions that you can't do this or that. You got to think that, people are going to, instead of sitting inside still and watching, games, they're going to want to get out. They're going to want to get out of the house instead of sitting around all night and day like they have been. So it's going to be interesting to see what the sports leagues do, and how the NBA sort of navigates LeBron's tweet there, because he, like I said, his word carries weight in the sports world, and it matters. There's no doubt. Just gonna take a huge chug here. This could go Nalgene. That's what I'm trying to do. I gotta get an Nalgene bottle, obviously. Not sponsored by Arrowhead here. I need to be. Shout out to them. But there's some other interesting stuff here that I just wanted to go over. The Pentagon released 3 unidentified flying object videos, or UFO videos, and it's sort of the first time that that I know of, or that people, the public knows of, the government acknowledging the existence of extraterrestrials or aliens or UFOs, and it's something that I've believed in for a while. I'm sure most people at this point believe in. It's kind of, I'm not passing judgment on anybody who feels a certain way, but it just obviously doesn't make sense, to be the only planet in our solar system. And not it's not even about our solar system. We are the only. I'm not sure if we are. I don't know. I don't know shit about any of what what I'm saying when it comes to planets and all that, or solar systems. But it just doesn't make sense that we'd be the only planet in this solar system, or even all the galaxies and solar systems out there in the universe and beyond, to have life on a planet, or somewhere. It just doesn't make sense that we'd be the only ones. There's no way, And I've never seen an alien. I like to think that I have, when not that you actually see like the alien figure, but when I feel like if you have like late night drives, when it's like I work early morning shifts, so I'm going in at like 2 a.m. right now for my schedule, and even going in then, if you're just driving, even out here in Colorado, the sky is obviously so expansive, but I'm sure obviously anywhere, if you just look up into the sky, you'll notice like those, whatever it is, just flies by in the sky in the blink of an eye. Like if you don't see it in a second, you won't see it. But you might see it out of your peripheral, and then like look up and just see it, and it's, you never see anything move that fast. And I always wonder, what the hell is that? And I'm not the only one who just sees that stuff, because it's not as if I've seen it once or twice. I see it, not all, at least once a month. It's like that. It's not that like you can't sit there and wait for it, because it's not like that. It happens in a blink of a damn eye. Like it's not something you've ever can. You can't witness it, really. You just it just is. It's like that. It break your neck trying to track it. So it just makes sense that there's aliens in out there in whatever galaxy or universe. It makes total sense at this point. And is the time inconvenient with the quarantine and everybody being stuck inside? It's not. It's different than I think if they like produce specific obviously they've released videos, which is I believe it's from the Air Force videos, and Tom DeLonge's To the Stars Academy, his space exploration company, I believe, they released some videos a couple of years ago, because I had seen those videos that the Pentagon released before online on YouTube a year or two ago, at least a couple of years ago. I think it was like 2017 or 2018, and so I had seen like those at least one or two of those videos before, but it's just interesting to see that they would confirm it, and to see that Tom DeLonge, his work is like paying off in a big time. I mean, was anybody, written off more than Tom DeLonge at one point? Because, Blink, I believe, did he quit Blink-182, or did they kick him out? I'm not sure if they kicked him out or he quit to start the To the Stars Academy space exploration there, his company. But I mean, he was kind of casted. He was sort of casted as like a crazy man. Like this mid 2000s, late 2000s. He's trying to explore aliens, instead of writing, another hit with Blink-182. It's just, now to see it finally after all these years, and even just seeing like his Joe Rogan interview a year or two ago, it was just kind of weird that, not that he was weird, just that, he was so, I don't know if it's secretive is the right word. I mean, because I think he had to he explained why he was acting that way. Is it because he was having at the time meetings with top officials, in the government. And when he was saying that, I was just kind of like, all right, dude, uh, whatever. Maybe you are. Who knows? You might be full of shit. But he, at this point, he looks like the true genius. And right now, like aliens are real. God bless. Something that we all knew years ago. I think it's kind of cool that the public's not freaking the hell out though, because obviously you can't go outside. Not to say that the public would freak out if we were outside right now, but I think the reaction was pretty calm for the news. I think the news is for the government to to announce, just to drop out, in the middle of the week, just to be like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, here's 3 videos that we haven't released officially, and yeah, they actually show UFOs and they're real, and here you go, view them, check them out. So just to see that is like, anything can happen, especially at this point. We know that. I feel like 2020, the year we won't forget, right? And I saw another thing. I'm just scrolling through again here. I saw the Castleton president, Miss Karen Scarafalo, I believe her name is. She resigned the other day, I believe, earlier this week, following the whole criticism and the Vermont State College's plan to shut down Northern Vermont University, Johnson, and Linden, its campuses, and Vermont Technical College in Vermont. And with that plan being withdrawn and all the criticism that came about, especially from former students, and even, I'm sure current students felt the same too, that, I'm sure that the heat was on, and even I was pissed, as you saw in a previous episode. It just didn't seem right. It just seemed like it was a total money grab. Obviously the system needs reworking, or needs some sort of reconfiguration, but I think there needs to be more funding, obviously. I'm not sure what the funding situation's like now, but I think there needs to be more of an importance on that small college education in this point in Vermont. And I think it's one of the ways that the state's gonna be able to continue to bring in young people, because other than that, you're not really, what are you selling tourism wise? Are you bringing people in tourism wise? No, not really. Maybe to ski or snowboard at some resorts, but other than that, people aren't flocking to Vermont really. Maybe in the fall to leaf peep, but there's so many challenges that state faces, and to sort of shun or to sort of limit options that draws in potential future Vermonters. It just doesn't make it. I don't know. It was the plan just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense, and it's disheartening to see that Jeb Spalding, the chancellor, or the Vermont State Colleges. I saw that he stepped down, and then now to see that Karen Scarafalo stepped down. I feel like at a certain point you gotta be a leader, And I did see some of her statement, I believe, that was saying that it would be hard to lead with my full ability, or the full trust of everyone, after this. And I can understand that perspective, but at the same time, I feel like you got, especially in a time like this, in a situation like this, people are kind of looking for someone to lead, and someone to step up and just to sort of drop out and just sort of be like, all right, well, that plan didn't work. Well, see ya. Fuck this. I'm gone. Just to see that is like, I, I think it looks bad. I don't think it looks good. I'm sure they don't care at this point what it looks like, but it doesn't look good. So I think Castleton needs a leader. I think they need to. I think this is such a pivotal time. Not only like the state's history, I feel like going forward, like right now, what's happening, just because that the population mainly in Vermont is elderly, and we've known that for decades, obviously, and it's not getting any younger. Young people are leaving out of college or in attending college out of the state of Vermont, so they're just leaving in droves, and I think it's a pivotal time in that not only the call in Castleton's in what would be Castleton's history, but obviously Northern Vermont University, since that just formed a couple of years ago. Now, I think, yeah, like I said, people need hope in this time, and they need something to look to, or someone to lead them. And to have that college not have a president right now, and just to have to sort of like scramble and maybe get like an interim president or whatever the situation might be, especially if it has to be like a sort of an emergency hire or an immediate hire where the person might not not necessarily identify with what Castleton is about, but not really have like any connection with Castleton, or not really understand what the school is about. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm sort of I'm sad to see like this is some of the unforeseen consequences and circumstances that have come from this coronavirus situation, and the effects of it, and just to see like the ripple effects, and like how many like just different fields it affects, fields of business and work it affects. I even just logged on to LinkedIn the other day and just seeing people get laid off, and I'm fortunate. Like I keep saying, I say I'm fortunate all the time just to even have a job right now, and I couldn't be more thankful, because if I didn't, I wouldn't know what to do. Obviously, I'd have to do what I have to do, and that's what I'm willing to do. Anything. I'm done it before, and I'm trying to I'm doing now, really. Not to say I'm struggling, because I'm good. And, I'm thankful to be good, but, I could just as easily not be, like so many people are, and that's what scares me, and that's what just gives me a little anxiety and stress. I try not to worry too much about it, because you can't worry about things you can't really control, but at the same time, when things happen that you can't control, it's like, well, how do you respond? That's the question. How do you respond? And that just kind of shows, like, your character, obviously, and your integrity and what you're about, This whole coronavirus situation is really testing my wits, and to be honest with you, I've personally taken this whole coronavirus situation so much better than I feel. Excuse me. Because I feel I could be, or I could have. I could be struggling and down. And of course I've had like a couple days, a few days like that. But it's not been weeks or a week time. It hasn't been anything like that. It's been like a day or two where I might be I might be feeling like just run down or tired. Where I'm just like, ugh. I don't know what to do. I don't know where I'm at, or what I'm gonna try to do, or what's next, or And then all of a sudden I just kind of snap out of it and just kind of be like, you know what? Look at where you're at. Excuse me. Look at where you're at. Look at where you could be. And look at like the possibilities of what could happen, good and bad. And you gotta think like that. That's kind of why, like this all just brings me back. I forgot to talk about this earlier when I was talking about getting notes, and then that's exactly it. I'm trying to make my plan right now. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a plan in any scenario, in any situation. I think I've talked about this on a previous episode or two. What am I going to do if I don't have a job? Okay? I need to have a plan for that. What am I going to do even now? Like now that I have a job, but it's enough now? Will it be enough eventually? Is it what I'm trying to do permanently? Is this what I'm trying to be permanently? What am I trying to do, like, all these things in a year or in 5 years? And, I went to Walmart today and even just bought a notebook. That's the thing. Believe that. I bought a notebook for 90 cents, a big, thick, just notebook. And then I bought a little package of pens for 90 cents, five or 8 pens. I think it was eight pens right over there. Just not even with that, eight pens and a notepad for not even $2. And just like that alone is like that's all you need right there. I'm gonna try to write out every day how I'm feeling or what I'm thinking or how my day was or what I'm trying to do, just anything. It can even just be one word like feeling like shit or like dead or just anything, like just I'm not feeling great, or like just anything. I just, as long as I write something every day, that way I can look back on it and be like, all right, this remember where I was during this. That's how I felt. I can visually see it. Like that's how I felt on this day. Remember that wasn't long ago, right? That was what? 3 months ago. And in 3 months' time, I wrote down I wanted to do this. Did I do it? That way I can almost hold myself accountable. There's a few things I'm trying to do like that, and it's just small steps that you can take, I feel like, to improve your life. And I think I mentioned on the first episode or two there, like that's what I'm trying to do is just find little ways that I can, improve myself and what I'm doing, I'm single, obviously. I don't have any love interests or, I'm not going after anybody, like I'm not tied to anything right now. So I don't have anyone really to talk to or, anything to like, that could hold me back, not to say like a girlfriend would hold me back or anything, but I have nothing that could stop me. So for me, it's just like, instead of wallowing in my days where I'm feeling like shit, or like just down, I gotta just pick myself up and try to just be a little positive instead of, just I don't want to do this today. I'm tired. I didn't sleep a lot. Blah blah blah. Just write it down in the journal. Didn't sleep a lot. I'm tired. Next, that's all you have to write. It doesn't have to be that, like just anything. I just want to know how I'm feeling today and know what my plan is for tomorrow. And I think that's the key for you out there too. I think it'd be great to even just, you don't even have to get a little notepad or a pack of pens. You don't need that. You got it in your phone. You got a little note section. Write it down. Write down what you want to do. Obviously it might be a little harder to keep track of because it can get lost. And, I try to, take my little notes, my note little app there, on my phone. It's not full, but how many notes I got? Let's see. 115 notes. Yeah. I write down just random stuff, like just random ideas that I have, or, I even have like sections like invention ideas, comedy jokes and bits because I want to maybe eventually start getting into comedy and writing comedy, and that's also why I bought the pen and paper, notepad, is that I want to try to write jokes and maybe try to explore some stand-up a little bit. I've always been interested in stand-up comedy, and especially now more than ever. And just hearing guys, one of my favorite comics and one of the funniest people, if not the funniest person on the planet, Joey Diaz, from the Church of What's Happening Now with Lee Syatt. Just hearing them talk about like the importance of like writing down your goals and how you're feeling and what you want to do and what you hope to do. Just hearing them talk about like the importance of that is it kind of like inspired me, and they've been talking about it for years now, and eventually I had to like just get up off my ass and just be like, you know what, I'm gonna start this show. I'm gonna start this Living Color show. I'm gonna write down how my goals. I'm gonna try to get my plan together. I'm gonna try to just do little things that I can, improve myself. So, and that's the thing. Like, I'm just kind of talking right now. I'm just going. I didn't really feel like up to it today. I've said it before that like it can be a little tough to sort of get yourself going. And this is only the 5th episode. I'm trying to do this for years, if not decades. If I'm fortunate and thankful enough to, blessed enough to. But I just wanted to talk today and kind of get that off to my chest, because that's how I'm thinking and that's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling thankful. I'm feeling positive. And I'm grateful for what I have. And I'm grateful for what I've done and where I've been so far. And and I've sort of taken a moment, I'm taking this time to sort of look, kind of reflect on, be like, I've done a lot in the past few years, work-wise, and for my like career, and for what I'm trying to do eventually. I've done so much to set myself up, and it wasn't long ago that I was working at a gas station in St. Albans, Vermont. And it's not to put people who work at gas stations down, because there's a lot of great people who work in there, and now that I've worked at one for a few years, I know what it's like, and the work it can take. It's not just sitting there like it may look like to you if you walk in on someone who is just working by themselves at night, or they're just hanging out at the register. Like, there's a lot to it, and I've kind of just seen where I've come from, like working at a restaurant working at a gas station, and while attending college and all that. And that wasn't even 2013, 2014, and 2012. So, I'm just trying to take time to think of where I'm at and where I'm trying to be. And I think that's the most important lesson. And no matter what steps you take to do it, you just gotta eventually, it's gonna help you in so many different ways, and you're gonna learn from it. And that's what I hope to be. That's what I hope to do. So, hopefully by the next time I get this, by the next episode, number 6, I have like a different sort of setup, and I'm just trying to fill it out a little bit more. I got my little Geet that I bought this past week here with me. It's a little Maestro, a little practice, sort of a practice Gibson, Les Paul Gibson, but I love it. It's just a beaut. And it was $60-$70, so I'm thankful I got it, and I'm just playing that, and I'm loving, trying to be positive and trying to love life, and that's all you can do. It sounds so cliche and so weird to say, I'm trying to love life and be positive, but that is the key right now. We're almost 2 months in quarantine, month and a half, 2 months in. So we're in it, and we're going to continue to be in it. That's what it looks like, and all you can do is continue to try to be positive and have your plan and make your plan and be ready in any scenario. And, that's kind of my thoughts. That's kind of where I'm at for this week. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're healthy still. And like I said, trying to stay positive. And I hope you have a great start to your month of May. I know I will. I'm going to be turning 27 this month. I can't believe it. On May 22nd, which is a Friday. And, if the bars and clubs were open, I would tear that shit up. But, I'm going to tear it up either way. We're going to we can make do with what I have here. I got plenty. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're happy. I hope you're positive. And I hope you take care of yourself and everyone around you and look out for each other. And I hope to try to catch up with you next time. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you as always. And this has been the Living Color Show with Matt Woodward. Signing off. Take care.
Don't stop.